I invite you into a moment of prayer with me. God of endless grace, we ask today that the words from my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts, that they may be pleasing to you, our rock and our salvation. Amen. This passage that we just heard Andy read for us this morning is a story about Moses talking with the people, reminding them of their journey, reminding them that this is a time for them to be in celebration and thanksgiving for all that God has done for them. It's a reminder that God has given them gifts, that God has blessed them with many things in their lives, not only in their lives, but also in the lives of their ancestors. It reminds them that the ancestors that were promised to come to the land of milk and honey have arrived. That they have arrived in this wonderful place, this promised land, this place that is filled with joy, this place that is filled with endless promise. But Moses also reminds them that it wasn't an easy journey. He recognizes that there were trials, there were tribulations, there were struggles, there were difficulties as they left Egypt and they came to this new land. But again, Moses reminds them that God took them out of the hands of their oppressors, delivered them, gave them freedom, allowed them to come into a new place where they could really be the creation that God desired for them to be. This passage is one, as I mentioned, about a journey. And even when I say that word journey, it may conjure up some images in your own minds about what it is like to be on a journey. We certainly can think of our whole lives as a journey of our faith. But I think there are portions of that journey that we think about that may be described as vacation. There may be a portion of your journeys that have been about struggle. And certainly there are portions of your journey that are about celebration and joy. These ideas around joy and celebration are great, but recognizing that life and our journeys are not always easy. Anyone who's taken a long road trip, say 8, 10, 24 hours with their children, might find that agreeable. They test your patience and your faith as you drive down the road. Are we there yet? Shh, we'll get there soon. But these journeys that we go on in our lives, they are something for us to reflect back upon, to think about, and to give thanks for them. It was a number of years ago that I had an opportunity to take a journey, a portion of my life, and spend it in Israel and Palestine. I remember as I prepared for this trip and was packing things and getting mentally prepared, reading books about both Palestine and some of the things going on in Israel and Jerusalem. I remember people saying, "Oh, this is going to be so great for you. I think when you come back, you're going to just be so different." And I said, I don't really know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen when I get over there and experience what life looks like for those people. But I remember when I arrived and I just couldn't believe it quite at first when I stepped off the plane and I was finally in Israel. It was a place that I had read about, that I had studied, a place that was supposed to be the nourishing portion of my faith. I remember seeing the city of David and walking around and through it. I remember standing on the top of the Mount of Olives and looking over that city. I remember being at the Sea of Galilee and standing along the shore and looking out on this flat, massive body of water and seeing those fishing boats. And it brought me back to the readings of the Bible, the places where Jesus stood. What a powerful time. What an amazing gift. And when I returned back from those sacred and holy lands, I may not have felt like they were so sacred and holy. Not at that moment. But over time, I began to see at how amazing a gift, an opportunity it was for me to be in those places where our faith begins. Just seeing the olive trees that were in the Garden of Gethsemane, knowing that they were thousands of years old and that Jesus may have very much touched and rested against one of those, was powerful. And the more I thought about all those places that I was, the places that I had been, the privilege that I had been given to walk in some of those sacred temples and mosques, the more blessed I realized I was. You see, too often on our journeys, we get too busy. We get too focused on what's the next thing I need to do today? What's the thing I've got to do tomorrow? Oh, that's right, I've got parent-teacher conferences. I've got soccer games. I've got a theater to go to. I have a concert to see. I've got to get my kids off to school. I've got to make lunch. And oh yeah, I've got to schedule that appointment with the dentist to do my root canal. All of those things we get busy and tied up with in our lives. And we forget to pause. Forget to pause and take a moment to give thanks. You know, the English have a saying. It is, wake up and smell the roses. I love that saying. I've heard it throughout my life. It's good. It's a saying that reminds us to take pause, to stop in the midst of our hectic and busy lives that are filled with all of these things, and to pause and be thankful in those seconds and minutes. When you're walking your child to school and you get to have a conversation, it is a blessing. When you wake up in the morning and you take that first breath and you see the sun gleaming in through your window, it is a blessing. When you hear the voices of the children around you laughing and having a good time, it is a blessing. We are such blessed individuals. And when we take that moment, that pause, and that time to just recognize those blessings that we have been given, it is important to the growth of our faith. God gives us many gifts. Just like in the story that we heard today from Deuteronomy, these are a story about the journey and what it takes and what we've gone through the struggles with disease and illness, but with the understanding that we've had such great joys and blessings along the way. So this week, even though it is indeed a short week for many of us, as some of us will get into cars and drive to different places, let us remember the blessings in that journey. Let us take pause, celebrate those moments when we are sitting around a table playing a game of euchre. Sorry, that's a Midwest reference. When we are sitting at that table and eating that slice of pumpkin pie with extra whipped cream. Let us be thankful for those moments. Let us sing. Let us smile. Let us laugh. And let us dance. Because we are a blessed people called by God. And so today, I share my own gift of thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be your interim pastor. To open your hearts, to open your minds, opening your homes, so that I could come and be a part of this journey with each of you. It is such a blessing. And for me, no matter how short our time may be, I will always look back on it very fondly. May you have a blessed Thanksgiving. Give thanks to God this day. Amen.